What's up, guys? So it's the return of Mass Effect talks, but it's gonna be a little bit different this time because I'm gonna try to do a series of Mass Effect talks videos where I tie them to Andromeda, just like speculation, obviously, because we don't know pretty much anything to Andromeda, but I think I have a good idea of what BioWare might, you gotta remember that this is just speculation, might do with the endings. A lot of people were thinking that, BioWare, the only way they could go is if they choose a canon ending. And I don't know, ever since the very beginning, ever since the end of Mass Effect 3, I was like, people were already saying this. They were like, for the next Mass Effect, are they going to choose a canon ending? And I never believed it. Like, I was like, there's no way. Especially with the way that they are with choice. When it comes to Dragon Age Inquisition, they were changing a lot of things. They were going from old tech to new tech, and they were going from old engine to new engine, and they were completely revamping that engine. So a lot of things were kind of hard for them to integrate it into Dragon Age Inquisition. When it came to our choices, Dragon Age Inquisition did a pretty good job when it came to previous choices, especially with the Dragon Age Keep, which I'm pretty sure Mass Effect is going to be doing the same thing. Something similar to Dragon Age Keep, where they ask questions about your previous saves and stuff like that. The good thing is that they're starting fresh with a new story. They're not continuing. They're not continuing with Shepard. Shepard is already done, so they're starting fresh in so to speak, and not only with characters and story, but also in location. So I really think that it is a great way to start the series, to continue the series, to start in a new galaxy, because it gets rid of a lot of issues, a lot of continuation issues that they could have had when it comes to the endings, when it comes to the Mass Effect 3 endings, and making everybody's choice count, and not have them be like, okay, well, this is the canon ending. Anyone else that chose anything but this ending, whatever, you're screwed. Too bad. I'm not saying that they wouldn't. I'm sure that they could, but it's not their style. It's not the way that they work. So I think I came up with a possibility. I've been thinking a lot about this, and in previous videos you'll see me, even way before then, I was like, I don't even want to talk about the endings because it was so confusing to me. I was like, I don't know what the hell they're gonna do, because there's 4 endings that you could choose from: refusal, destroy, control, and synthesis. Now, I know that this goes without saying, but if you haven't played Mass Effect 3, I'm going to be talking about major spoilers. I'm going to be talking about the endings. So if you don't care, but you haven't played it, then that's fine. Keep watching. But if you do care and you haven't played it, then I would say don't watch this video until you've played the endings of Mass Effect 3. So now that disclaimer is out of the way. Now, because I'm such a huge nerd, and because I love to do research, and because I love Mass Effect, and just because I'm such a nerd, I had to do a Venn diagram. I mean, hello, obviously. It made things a lot easier for me to visualize, because I needed it. My thoughts were so meshed up in my mind that I was like, I need something to look at and just quickly get the idea, right? So I made this Venn diagram. It's nice, isn't it? It's like so professional and everything. So pretty much what this is the 4 endings of Mass Effect 3. Now, if I miss anything, I'm not saying I'm like a complete guru when it comes to Mass Effect. Like, I don't know everything. So I haven't played the games in a very long time, so I might have forgotten something. But I think I have it all down. I watched the endings all over again, all of them. I personally chose Control for my Shepard. For my second playthrough, I was going to choose Destroy, but I never finished that playthrough. Out of all the four, not just because I chose it, but I think out of all the four, my favorite is Control. I just think it's such a great sci-fi ending. I mean, like, Shepard turns into this big Reaper guardian god thing, and it just, so cool. In the extended cut, the narration that he gives at the end was just so good. You know what? I don't have my notes. So let's talk a little bit about what is on this Venn diagram, besides all the awesomeness. All of these endings have a narration at the end. Someone is giving a narration at the end. In Control, it's Shepard. In Destroy, it's Hackett. In Refusal, it's Liara. And in Synthesis, it's Edie. So I watched everything that the Catalyst said again, especially in the extended cut, because that is the official ending to Mass Effect 3. I wasn't watching anything from before. It was all from the extended cut because that's where they're going forward from. The outside of the Venn diagram, which are unique to each decision. In Control, Shepard becomes a Reaper Guardian or a Reaper God. In Destroy, Shepard possibly lives, and the Reapers are destroyed by Shepard, and all tech is destroyed as well. All tech. The Catalyst said that ships, anything that is living because of synthetics is gonna die. Any synthetic life form is gonna die, and even guns, weapons, are gonna be destroyed. So all technology is destroyed, not just the Reapers, not just the mass relays, everything. In Refusal, the Reapers win. There we hear the message from Liara of how to defeat the Reapers. Her warnings at the end. The relays are not destroyed, and the humans most likely are wiped out. That's why in the very end, it's not the man talking to the little boy, it's the Asari talking to the child. In Synthesis, it's Shepard's DNA is merged with all synthetics. So those are the very unique things to your choices. When it comes to what each ending shares, all of them, where they all share something, is in the middle, there's eventual peace. Eventual peace comes because with that little discussion between the grown-up and the child on the planet with the tree and all that, they're talking about peace. Even in Refusal, they're talking about there being peace in the galaxy finally because of their warnings. So in all of the endings, there is peace at the end. In all of the endings, there is rebuilding because they have to rebuild everything that the Reapers destroyed. Even if the Reapers weren't destroyed, even if the mass relays weren't destroyed, they are rebuilding in all of them. Liara's capsule exists in all the endings, not just because we see it in the Refusal ending. Is it the only one where it exists in that one? No. Liara made the capsule. She made the capsule regardless. So that capsule exists. We just got to hear it in Refusal, but she made that capsule because she told us that she was going to make it. So let's just assume that she made it because that's what she was doing. The Reapers only exist in Control, Refusal, and in Synthesis. The relays are destroyed only in Control, Destroy, and Synthesis. The Reapers rebuild in Synthesis and in Control. There is no Reaper help, and the cycle continues in Refusal and Destroy. So with all that in mind, let's look at the future that we most likely will have to have in order to make all of these endings count, no matter which one you chose. Because what I think BioWare is going to do is they're going to do this system like Dragon Age Keep, where you go and you input your choices. Because we're moving to PC, Xbox One, and PS4, we're leaving old technology behind. So transferring of saves is not going to be a possibility, most likely, or at least a practical one. So they're probably going to be doing something similar to Dragon Age Keep, where you could input what you chose in major decisions. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to take everyone's ending and make a future out of it, where all of these things apply. And these outside unique choices, unique to each ending, are going to be discussed verbally, through conversation, through whatever, things that you hear around the game. They've done this before. This is not the first time they would be doing this, where your decisions, you've spotted them by hearing them, or like, oh yeah, I remember doing that choice. That's where the difference is going to be. But when it comes to the future you're going to get, it's all going to be the same. So the one that I didn't discuss in the very middle, where all of them share, if you remember, the catalyst said that synthesis is the ultimate evolution of life. Now that we know it is possible, it is inevitable that we will reach synthesis. Synthesis is the final evolution of all life. This is crazy, but just put up with me for a second. This could change Mass Effect gameplay. So the future that we need for Mass Effect Andromeda to make all of these choices, all of these endings count, where we all get a future where all of these choices make sense, this is what we need. We need a future with no Reapers. We need a future with no Shepard. We need a future where the relays have been fully repaired and all tech. We need a future with eventual peace. We need a future with eventual synthesis, everyone. We need little focus in the Milky Way galaxy. And the N7 group needs to live on as some kind of remembrance towards Shepard. So let me explain a little bit. This needs to take place a few years into the future. I was thinking still during the time where they're repairing the relays, but I think that it's got to be at least far enough where the relays are already fixed, and that already gives us a good idea of how we get to the Andromeda galaxy. Maybe through the relay, maybe they find a way to make the relay work just one way to shoot you towards a specific coordinate or something, but then you're stuck until you find something. The narrations at the end of all the endings, some things that really stood out as to what the future of Mass Effect is going to be, is what Hackett says and what Edie says, especially what Edie says. Some things that Hackett says that stand out are, as we take our first steps towards restoring what we lost, we must remember what it took to win. We're at our strongest when we work together. We can rebuild everything. And the one thing that Edie says that I was like, that's pretty much Mass Effect Andromeda, is she says, we will reclaim our worlds and the stars. We know that they're aiming for a future where they rebuild everything and take on everything else. In this future, there needs to be no Reapers. And you could say, well, I destroyed the Reapers. Yeah, but not everyone did. So why do we have to have a future with no Reapers? Because some people did destroy the Reapers. And in order to make everyone's choice matter, we need a future with no Reapers. So this is how I was thinking. The future that they make is going to be, there are no Reapers. And how is that going to be explained in your game, where you hear it or something? Someone's talking about it. Either someone says, oh yeah, Shepard destroyed the Reapers. Or we eventually found a way to destroy the Reapers thanks to their warnings, which is refusal. The Reapers just left. People probably wouldn't know why the Reapers would have just left. But if you did control, maybe you could think Shepard must have been like, we're out. You guys are ready. Now you guys take over. Now it's your guys' turn. That's enough of the Reapers meddling with your lives. We're out. So maybe Shepard has the Reapers leave to give the galaxy that freedom, and not this control over how the galaxy forms itself. It's their galaxy. It's no longer the Reapers. So let's just say the Reapers just disappeared. The Reapers left. The Reapers went back into dark space, and Shepard is this guardian. The guardian of the galaxy or something like that. In synthesis, I was trying to think of a way to have the Reapers go away. And I think maybe a good idea of how maybe they were sacrificed. Maybe since everyone was already merged with synthetics, Edie says that they already have all information. Organics have synthetic information. Organics have the way of understanding everything that synthetics now have. They're like computers now. So maybe they don't need the Reapers anymore because they're like, we could do it. We could handle it ourselves. Maybe they took apart the Reapers for technology, for parts, because the Reapers were made out of advanced technology that they didn't have right at that moment. So maybe the Reapers were taken apart because the Reapers, they're not needed. They could make even better stuff. So in the moment, maybe they took the Reapers apart to use the technology because they really needed it at that time. So there is an explanation for the Reapers being gone for all the endings. There could be way more explanations, but those are just some ideas that it is possible of doing. So again, there needs to be a future with no Reapers, because in one of the endings, Destroy, the Reapers are gone. So that would be a huge difference. That would already make it so that they had to think of ways of giving you a completely new game, where in one game you have Reapers, in another game you don't have Reapers. So in order to accommodate for everyone, they need to get rid of the Reapers and say the Reapers left, the Reapers were used for parts, the Reapers had been destroyed by a Shepherd, and the Reapers were eventually defeated. So again, all that would be explained in conversation easily through the decisions that you would make in this Mass Effect keep. Now, this is already a given that there's no Shepherd, because BioWare already said it many times over. So there's no Shepherd, but why there is no Shepherd is going to be a difference. There's going to be a difference as to how they explain it depending on the decisions that you make. But I think in all of them, it's going to be that Shepherd sacrificed himself. Even in Destroy, even though you're like, but Shepherd is probably alive. In this future, Shepherd is no longer here, and it's probably too far into the future for Shepherd to still be alive. So I think he's going to have some kind of memorial. Maybe he's going to be remembered as a hero. The relays have to be completely repaired, and I'll tell you why. Because in one of the endings, the relays were not destroyed, which is in Refusal. The relays were left alone because the cycle continued, and the Reapers rely on the relays. So since the Reapers won, they left back into dark space until the next cycle, until the next harvesting. So they would need the mass relays, so they didn't destroy the mass relays. So the mass relays are fine and dandy in Refusal. So if you chose Refusal in Mass Effect Andromeda, you're going to have the mass relays, because it's not going to make sense for them to be destroyed because you didn't destroy them. So the mass relays have to be completely restored in Mass Effect Andromeda. And they were all getting fixed anyways. Just the way that they got fixed, maybe in some conversations, you're gonna hear, oh yeah, the Reapers helped fix them, synthesis or control. Or we fixed them in Destroy. So that's why it has to be a good amount of years into the future for that to be believable. And also, it also gives a good amount of years to restore all tech as well. Guns, ships. Because in Mass Effect Andromeda, we do see old technology. We do see the Mako, the guns. So they had to have repaired it. The eventual peace thing, I already discussed that, because at the end, the adult and the child, they're talking about that, and how the Shepherd pretty much because of him or her, there is now peace. That is the most important for Refusal, because you could be like, well, in Refusal the Reapers won, the Reapers still exist, the cycle continues. How is there going to be peace if the Reapers are still out there? But you got to remember that ending. The Asari tells the child that now there is peace because of the warnings. So that could mean that they already destroyed the Reapers. They already found a way to destroy the Reapers, and without them causing havoc this time, because they already had the warnings. They already knew what to do. The previous time, it was probably too late already, but Liara gave them a good amount of time to prepare. With eventual synthesis, this is what I was saying about the catalyst, that the catalyst says that is going to be the ultimate evolution of life. What if in all the endings, everyone reaches synthesis in this future? I think the most problematic for that is destroy, because all synthetics were destroyed. But you could say when they repaired it, when they fixed the synthetics again, maybe they started to apply it to them in order to be stronger, in order to survive longer. You know, they already went through this horrible war. They felt completely hopeless. It makes sense that they feel charged to never let this happen again, to keep the memory of Shepard going on, you know? So maybe synthesis happens. This whole theory is a long shot, but it makes sense. This could change the gameplay of Mass Effect because you're adding synthesis. The characters in the trailer, you couldn't really see the Krogan anyways, but the two characters, especially the main character that you see on the trailer and the girl, they have helmets on. So you can't see the green stuff glowing on them, so you don't know what's behind that helmet. And plus, maybe that whole green stuff, the green eyes, was just initial, because it was starting, the synthesis was starting to take over organics. So maybe it was just an initial side effect. So maybe later that stops showing so much. So it's not like that's how we're gonna look. Everyone's gonna be having like green eyes. No, that was probably an initial side effect. That's what I was thinking. I was like, that makes sense. You could say that. If you think about it, synthesis is organics and synthetics pretty much merged in a completely advanced way. Not just like Shepard, but like kind of like the Elusive Man, similarly like that, but without the whole malevolent, crazy indoctrination stuff. So it's not completely bizarre. It's not completely unattainable. So maybe they do reach synthesis, and maybe we even get like an added ability. You know, like it's not just biotics anymore. It's not just melee or whatever. We get like an extra ability tree, like in Dragon Age Inquisition. Like in Dragon Age Inquisition, we have an extra power tree, right? Because of the anchor. So we could have an extra like synthesis tree or something, you know? That would be so cool. You know, like what if we get like new abilities or something? That'd be so freaking awesome. There are a few problems with this. I'll discuss them later, but that could open the doors to some really cool ideas for Mass Effect. Little focus on the Milky Way galaxy. Here's why. In Refusal, the Reapers win. What does it mean that the Reapers won? The Reapers were pretty much destroying everything in the galaxy, but their main purpose was to harvest humans. So by saying the Reapers win, that kind of implies that humanity was wiped out. But you could say it is a possibility that some were still alive, some survived, a few humans survived somewhere. So, you know, it's kind of like with the Protheans. Some of them did survive. I mean, they were wiped out afterwards, but some of them did survive. The humans, I think a small amount of humans did survive. And after the Reapers leave, they start to reproduce, they start to rebuild. So the human race is growing, but it's not as big as it used to be because they were wiped out. So they can't focus a lot on the Milky Way because of that ending. Because the humans are pretty much, they're probably not gone, but they've dwindled, especially compared to the other endings. That's the only one that happens. They do have losses in all the other endings, but the Reapers didn't win. So in Refusal, humanity is probably not as booming as it used to be. Since that doesn't happen in the other endings, they need to focus less on the Milky Way galaxy, which I think is already something they're going to do. I don't think they're going to focus on the Milky Way galaxy. I think they're going to focus more in Andromeda. And like I said, that's a good thing that they're moving to a different galaxy, because that solves a lot of problems with the previous endings. Absolutely simple through a conversation. If you chose refusal, they could say, this is the only way to advance, or to keep the human race going on, whatever, something like that. But you're not seeing any of it. You're not in the Milky Way galaxy. It's not being shown to you. You'll just believe it. Okay, yeah, that's happening over there. And with the rest of the endings, it doesn't matter. You're going to the Andromeda galaxy anyways. You're not seeing Earth. You're not seeing any of those civilizations, those human civilizations from the Milky Way galaxy anyways. And 7, remembrance to Shepard. The future that we're seeing, there's still N7. Maybe it's not that far into the future, but if you remember in the endings, they're talking a lot about remembering how they got there, about remembering all the lives that were lost, about remembering Shepard. And Shepard was N7. So maybe they kept that group, maybe they even evolved it, maybe they changed it, but they kept it N7 because that is the remembrance towards Shepard. I think it makes sense for all the endings. For there to still be an N7, it's because of an honor to Shepard. That could be a good way of keeping N7 alive for so many years into the future. But I mean, they could simply just say, oh yeah, N7's still around. They could totally just say that. But I think it's a really good way of incorporating Shepard. It's a good way of incorporating his or her memory, to make it more personal for the player, where you're like, oh yeah, we're N7 because of Shepard, or whatever like that. Keeps us remembering, which is a big focus in the end of Mass Effect 3, was remembering what they had to do to get there. So that's my theory. I mean, it's a crazy theory. It's kind of where you're like, what? I might have some of these things wrong, but I totally think that they're going to be doing something similar, where they want to reach a future where all of these apply, and the only unique differences are going to be explained through conversation. They have to do the differences through conversation, because if they don't, it's going to be way too much. It's going to be way too much to incorporate. It's going to be way too much for them to handle. Way too many things, way too many unique differences that they would have to incorporate, and it would change the whole story. So they've got to find a way to make it so that they reach a future where all of these endings would eventually merge. And the Catalyst said that the eventual evolution of all life form was going to be synthesis. So that was either setting up the next game, or it was just by coincidence, but I think that line was setting up the next game. I guess you could kind of say that the canon ending is synthesis, but at the same time it's not, because you still have your choices that matter. You still have those little conversations as to how you got there, and what you did to get there. But eventually this was going to happen anyways. I mean, the Catalyst said it in Mass Effect 3 anyways. Here's the problem. This is why it's kind of problematic, synthesis. Because it's almost too perfect. It's almost too perfect for there to even be conflict. You know what I mean? Because Edie says that everyone is a computer, pretty much. So it's not just organics that have computer biology or computer brains mixed with organics, but it's also synthetics that are now alive. They do have a soul, like Legion asked. So I was like, could that be too perfect? Like, imagine if your character was this almost like this computer that knew everything. I guess it wouldn't be extremely problematic, because again, you are going to a different galaxy, which solves a lot of things, like I said, and it could probably solve this issue of knowing everything. Because if you were still in the Milky Way galaxy, it'd be like, okay, well, there's nothing that you cannot calculate. But you're moving to a new galaxy. Even robots, even AI has to learn their their environment, has to learn the location first before they can make any calculations. If you guys should listen to the narration. Out of all the ending narrations, I think the most important for Mass Effect Andromeda is Edie's, because she talks about everything that is going on with organics and synthetics now, and she talks about this understanding. Once they repair everything, because they're going to be able to repair it anyways, no matter what ending you have, everything is going to be repaired. And since they are going towards a rebuilding, a reclaiming, I feel like in all the endings, they want to eventually get to a future that will prevent a lot of this from happening. And maybe that future is synthesis. The Catalyst does say, Shepard asked the Catalyst, why, if synthesis is the ultimate evolution, why hasn't it happened before? And the Catalyst says, it's been tried. Like, it has been tried, but they weren't ready yet. Like, it never worked. And it tells Shepard, you're ready. You're ready to make this happen. So I think the galaxy, after everything that they went through, after the Reaper invasion, I think they're eventually going to be ready as well to reach synthesis. They have to be, if this theory is even anywhere near what they might be doing with Mass Effect Andromeda. Maybe they created something. I mean, they were able to get to Andromeda, so the technology was advanced enough to maybe have a mass relay shoot you into the next galaxy, the closest galaxy. And then in that galaxy, you would be using FTL, which is what we saw in the trailer. I was like, well, they're using FTL. And I was thinking it was probably planet to planet, but it could also be, someone was telling me in the comments, they were like, it could be sun to sun, so system to system. But already in the Andromeda galaxy where there are no mass relays, so you have to rely on FTL. I mean, you would pretty much be Shepard, because Shepard was synthetic and organic, but maybe you could have new powers now. Like an extra tree. That would be so cool. That would be so cool. Like, it would be a green tree, or like a new tree, where you could do things. Like, you could do things that you never were able to do before. And we wouldn't be these super organic things, because we'd be in a new galaxy. It would be a new environment. And we wouldn't know anything, no matter how synthetic we were. So I think Andromeda is going to take place a little bit farther into the future, just to accommodate for people that chose destroy and or refusal. Just a quick tidbit. I've been seeing that people are saying that I think one of the BioWare devs already confirmed that the song being used at the beginning of the trailer is there is a meaning to it. So I was I wasn't crazy. They didn't just like the song. It was chosen for a reason. And when I was watching the endings again, the whole talk of the cycle that the Catalyst talks about, the whole cycle, the whole chaos between organics and synthetics, that it always happens, that they had to find a solution to prevent chaos. This even though, like I said, even though the Reapers were destroyed in Destroy, the Catalyst says that again, they're going to fall into the same cycle they did before, because organics are going to keep creating synthetics. So that already, I was like, that's pretty much what the song is talking about. The song is talking about the cycle, that cycle that they haven't broken. So I don't know if it's kind of alluding to that, but I think it's something new. It's they're creating a new cycle, I mean, come on. That's what organics do. We create cycles, and so do synthetics. They work on repetition. As always, I mean, I gotta have crazy theories. They're just fun. Oh, and Liara's capsule. Liara's capsule is also going to be important. I think Liara's capsule is going to play a role in everyone's ending, not just in refusal. It's going to, I think, explain who Shepard was. It's going to pretty much explain maybe the choices that you made, because that's pretty much what Liara was doing. It was kind of like, you could see it kind of like Liara's journal. She's telling a story of what happened. And I think that was a good way of taking what happened in Mass Effect and bringing it into this new story. I have read that they are thinking of maybe bringing in past characters, like as cameos, or at least mentioning them in Mass Effect Andromeda. That's also a possibility because Asari live for years, so any Asari is game. Krogans are game. Solarians, forget it. I don't think any of our human, Solarian, Turian. So I think the most possible are our Asari or Krogan allies. Any of those characters that we knew that are Asari and Krogan are the best candidates for cameos, for actual cameos. Everyone else is game for mentioning. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys found that interesting. Share your thoughts, comments, whatever you want in the comments down below. I would love to hear some of your guys' ideas or anything you would like to add. If I get a lot of suggestions or anything like that having to do with new theories or this theory, I will make another video where I talk about it, because this is really interesting stuff. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.